This winter tested us more than we expected. There were weeks where boat life just felt miserable. But seasons change. And for us, that means it's finally time to turn the page and get the boat ready. And see if we even remember how to sail. And dock. Alright, so spring is finally here. We are done with that god-awful winter that was historic. And now it is time for us to start getting to work for the season, getting everything ready, getting the boat ready, getting our skills back up before we start taking friends out. I mean, we haven't moved this boat since November.
Yeah.
So that was the last time we tried docking. That was the last time we tried sailing.
It's been like 4 months.
4 months, yeah. So we've been completely inexperienced for 4 months now, and it is time to change that. But we've got some maintenance and stuff that we got to get done first. So first up, we're going to try to take care of the engine maintenance. We need to go get some oil, and we actually have like the oil filter. We have fuel filter we got to replace, but we want to make sure we always have a spare on board. So we got some shopping to do. I'm going to go take care of that and try to at least get some maintenance done. Let's check what kind of oil we need. We haven't done an oil change since last year, so it's not really something I keep on the top of my head, top of my mind. Oh, that's antifreeze. I was like, why is this different? All right. Let's get a picture of that. All right. So that's what we need to at least get step 1 done. After figuring out what weight oil we needed, we set off on our journey. The goal was simple: pick up the things we need for the seasonal maintenance. Unfortunately, things didn't go quite that easily. Once we got to the first place, we were hit with a big blow. That they had gone out of business completely, which is bad because we rely on them quite a lot. Our second stop ended in a very similar fashion, although thankfully for them, it was just because we arrived 15 minutes after they closed. Alright, so since we were unsuccessful in getting the engine oil, going to today just kind of work on the impeller and seeing if we can get the fuel filter changed. But from what I remember from last year reading through the manual, that was a tall order. And so begins the first step for any maintenance project, going to the manual. I realized very quickly that while I might be able to get the impeller done, getting the fuel filter done at the same time is going to probably be a tall order for as late in the day as we were. Ow. I thought the impeller thing's supposed to be right around in here. I think it's right here. Okay. I need tools. Engine and general maintenance. Impeller. Gloves and the ratchet set. There's not a lot of space here. So, gotta get this. So, gotta get this cover off right here. Ow. My knees are pressed into this material, the checker.
You want them?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that. I was like, damn. It's like that's why we bought it. That helps a lot, actually. So thankfully, it doesn't look broken or anything like that. It doesn't look impaired in any way. We're gonna replace it just to be safe and be ahead of schedule on our maintenance, but the old one's out. Can you hand me the new impeller, the glycerin packet? Yeah, the little juicy packet in the instructions. So after about 3 hours, our 30-minute project was done. We were one step closer to getting the boat ready to go out sailing. So yesterday we got the impeller done, and that was a whole yoga session. We call that boat yoga. Working on a boat, you learn to be flexible. So unfortunately, we were unable to get the motor oil yesterday. We're gonna try again today, go do some shopping. Additionally, we've been out of water for 3 days. Admittedly, that was by our decision because the marina had been talking about turning the dock water on by the end of the week today. And instead, that didn't end up happening, so we've got dishes piled. We were really banking on them turning it on today. So push come to shove, we still need water today, so we're gonna have to run all the water hose up to the building, up to the marina. And we figured while that's already out, we'll also do what we need to do with the outboard.
Yeah.
So first things first, more shopping. We're gonna see if we can find the motor oil, get the stuff we need to do the outboard.
They have it.
We gotta make sure this is the right one. And they only have one. The outboard to flush water into it, and so that we can turn the outboard on while it's out of the water. Our mission for today was a success. We got everything we needed to start working on the diesel and the outboard the next day. It's a good thing that we decided to relax for the rest of the evening, because the next day was full of surprises, and we blew our step counts out of the water. All right, so game plan for today is get as much done as we possibly can. That's pretty much it. But that's going to include trying to get the outboard done. We're gonna do that first because we're gonna try to put some anti-foul paint on the fin at the bottom of it, assuming this outboard even turns on.
Hopefully, yes.
That'll be the first. Checking to see that the outboard even turns on will be first. Then if it does and we're good to go, we will put some anti-foul paint on the bottom of it. We'll sand it down, put some anti-foul paint, and then we'll know we are good and prepped for next week. All right, sorry about that. We are still very self-conscious about recording in public, and we were about to walk past a group of people, and we were like, oh crap, we gotta hide the camera. But anyway, the plan for today is to first focus on the outboard motor and see if it still runs. We underestimated winter this year, as anybody that's been with us for a while knows. Part of that mixed with the not fully understanding what was needed for an outboard motor, we didn't really prep well. So I'm praying that this motor did not have any water down in the bottom that would have frozen and potentially cracked the aluminum casting. I didn't even know that was possible until well after it would have already happened, if it happened. We might actually pull our dinghy out of the box as well and get that inflated and ready so that next week we can put it in the water. We'll then go and focus on doing the maintenance inside the boat, the oil filter, fuel filter, oil change, all that good stuff. So first up, outboard and dinghy. All right, objective one is actually to find the nearest water hookup and go grab the ear muffler things, earmuffs that we bought at West Marine, so that we can actually get water running through it once we try to turn this thing on. We also have to hope that the fuel didn't go bad. I put stabilizer in it, but you know, things happen. Fingers crossed. Any water hookups over here? Lots of fuel jugs. But no water hookups. So we thought that the nearest water hookup was going to be on the other side of that building. Or at least that was the nearest one we knew of, but we think we found one over here. If this has water, that will make things so much easier for us. She's splashing me with all the leftover water in the hose. Yeah, this became a tangled mess.
Careful, Nina. Down.
This will be our first time ever seeing this dinghy outside of the box. We got it back in November and it has sat here ever since. We are very excited to see it. So, good news and bad news. The outboard works. Bad news, barely. It's able to turn on, go into forward idle, reverse idle. It'll hang out in idle. But the moment any gas is applied beyond that, game over. Thinking what we'll do is put some fresh gas. Not worried about it today. We're gonna move on to the dinghy now. We got enough out of this that we know the outboard at least works. But we'll get some fresh gas in it and try it again later. For now, it's trying to get the dinghy out. So we're about to have our first look at our new dinghy. I mean, we've seen some of it as we've been ripping the box to pieces, but we're about to take it out onto this tarp, trying to protect the bottom of it from the rocks, and get our first actual look at our new dinghy. So after quite a few hours of hard work, getting everything pumped up, cleaned up, and tested, at least for the outboard, we finally have the dinghy. Actually, we're not putting the dinghy in the water today. It is gonna go back into its little cubby area here. But we wanted to get it out, get it set up and ready for next week when we should be getting our davits installed. That's exciting. And then we have a little car for our boat. A little boat for a big boat. After verifying that our outboard works, getting our dinghy set up, and having a nice little lunch break, it was time to clean up our mess and move on to the bigger projects in the boat, i.e. getting our motor ready to go to hopefully take her out sailing the next day. Alright, so now that we're back, it's time to get to work on doing the fuel filter and maybe the oil change, and then that actually should be everything we need for doing our seasonal maintenance for the engine. And then we should be good to go. I might still try to do one or two projects that we've just been putting off. They're not difficult. I've just been lazy. So I might try to knock one or two of those out today too. We will see. And then tomorrow morning, hopefully, we will be practicing our docking, our sailing, and not messing up the boat. Hopefully. We're also getting tired. The old fuel filter in the box.
How often we need to change them?
I'd have to look back at the well, it's a good thing I got a whole bunch of diesel all over my fingers, because we're supposed to put a little bit on this ring, more than that to be honest, but You know what? I hate to do this, but there we go.
So I think we can do the oil still.
Yeah, we can do the oil today. This took like a quarter of the amount of time I was afraid it would, because we hadn't done this before, so I had no idea. Well, you know, knock on wood, because we're not done yet. But assuming I can just put this back together, bleed the air out, and be good, that should be good enough for us to, you know, be done. And then, yeah, we can do the oil. Ow. Alright, so I'm going to check the oil real quick. Just let the engine heat up for a minute, so I'm going to see. Get back in there. Amount-wise, it's good, but it looks like she's due for a change. It's pretty dark. Granted, I don't know a whole lot about diesels, so maybe that's freaking normal. But by normal car standards, that'd be pretty dark. Doing the oil change on an engine like this is a little bit different than doing it on your car, because we're not going to be letting the oil drain out the bottom of the oil pan like you would on a car. We're going to be sticking a tube down and sucking the oil out. Whee! Alright, so the maintenance is done on the engine. We're good to go for taking the boat out. And after pulling the dinghy out of the box, checking the engine for the outboard, doing the maintenance on the engine today, we are exhausted. So we're going to take a chill the rest of the night tonight, and then tomorrow morning we're planning on heading out to see the sunrise from the water. With sails up, we need to practice and get back out there. So we'll see you guys in the morning for our first day out for the 2026 season. And after having some of the worst Mexican food we've ever had and hanging out with some of the other people around the marina, we decided to call it an early night so that we could get up bright and early to set out. So we decided we wanted to make our first sail of 2026 extra special and go see the sunrise. So it is, what time is it?
5:40.
It's 5:40. So we're gonna try to go get some coffee because we're out. And then, because we're so inexperienced, but we're so out of practice with docking and everything, we're going to try to make our first experience for practicing under the cover of dark. It's going to make it more difficult for us, but at least if we mess it up, nobody will see us mess up. Funny enough, that's actually probably only the 4th or 5th time we've ever used our navigation or steaming lights. We're very rarely out in conditions that we would need them, like nighttime, fog, anything like that. Okay, so you can go ahead and get the spring line and bow lines off. Yeah, because the wind's coming from behind us. The only line that's actually doing any work right now is this line back here. It happens to the best of us. There we go. First sail of 2026. Just like that, with Annapolis fading into the view behind us, we had a spectacular sunrise. This view alone made all the work with the dinghy, the outboard, the maintenance, everything worth it, even though it was crammed into such a short period. But we're not done yet. We still have to get the sails out, and the hardest part, dock. Thank you. So we have made it. We got our sails up. We are moving at like 1.3 knots. There's our big day of remembering how to sail is not super exciting so far, which is great. We want that, but it's a little bit chilly. There's not a lot of wind, and I'd say actually that's probably perfect conditions for
The
first time of 2026.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna chill. We're gonna cruise along here for a little bit, and then we're gonna head back, practice our docking, and try to get in the first time with no scuffs.
That's it, yeah. I'm making tea. You want green tea or?
Yeah, green tea. I could use some caffeine. So we are now just cruising along at like 3.5, 3.6 knots, and we're pretty excited about that, given that there's like no wind. The only issue is we are not going in the right direction we need to. So at some point we're gonna have to start going downwind, and that's never a fun one for us. The first time we ever came out on the boat by ourselves, we were going downwind and way too much wind, and we were traumatized after that. So we are always super cautious whenever we start going downwind now. I mean, that was like the tow rail, the edge of the boat was almost in the water. We were leaned over so far, and yeah, then given that this is the first time of this year that we're out by ourselves, well, out at all, that gets a little nerve-wracking. We're like having flashbacks, like, let's not repeat that again. So hopefully, you know, nothing will happen. The wind is super low. Like at that point, we were out in like 27 knot gusts with full sails out because we didn't know any better yet. Very quickly we learned. So hopefully we'll be able to just chill, you know, probably let the sails out and cruise along. All right, I'm gonna go use the restroom. If you can just make sure we don't hit a cargo ship. And
There are too many.
that would be the most ridiculous crash ever, going at 3.5 knots. It'd be like the scene, what is it, where I think Zoolander, or maybe Elf, where the guy, or no, Deadpool. It'd be like that scene from Deadpool where the guy's like crawling on the ice rink, and Deadpool's on the Zamboni behind him, and they're just like like the slowest crash ever.
Why no? Go.
Yes. And with that, our first day of sailing in 2026 was over. Completely low wind and uneventful. Or at least, so we thought. Alright, so we are heading in a little bit earlier than expected. Put the sails away because out of nowhere, this fog situation, I don't know what it's going to bring with it, rolled in. So we're hoping that this will be some smooth docking as well before like maybe things get crazy. The wind's picked up a little bit more than we expected. It's still not high, but more than we expected. So what was supposed to be some easy docking practice might end up being spicy docking practice. Hopefully not.
Oh my god, it's foggy.
I know, it's actually concerning me. I'm hoping we arrive on time. So much for that easy, no stress docking. 20 knot gusts either. Yeah, you can't see anything out here. Thankfully, actually, the wind in here is way less. The moment we got behind the trees and the land,
Yeah.
now that we're in the shadow of the land, it got way better. There's a gust. And now for the moment of truth. It's time to back into the slip. At this point, the wind isn't that strong, but the gusts are up there. I know that most of the hardcore sailors will get on to me for using my bow thruster so much, but it is the best way that I have found to fight a crosswind, for our boat at least. Not that it really mattered. We did still end up scuffing up the starboard side, but that was the extent of it. So all in all, a successful docking. Once the spring line is secured, I use the bow thruster to push the bow to the port side, where I can walk up and Andrea can hand me the bow line. From that point, so long as we're in gear in reverse, the boat is secure and can sit as is, until we finish getting all the rest of the lines secured. So we made it back, we finished our docking, thankfully more or less without any hiccups. Unfortunately, because of the fog, I wasn't able to see the cat paws, the ripples on top of the water, to let us know a gust was coming, and we did kind of get taken sideways. Nothing drastic, but
We made it in the first try.
got in first try,
Yeah.
and we're good. We got great practice with our sailing today under various conditions. This morning there was no wind.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we were coming in, it picked up a little bit. Actually, just enough to make the docking a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
If it had been just dead calm, I mean, that would have been great for an initial first time. But it wasn't like crazy dangerous or anything. But it was enough to make it a challenge for being out of practice. But this weekend has been just exhausting with all the work on the dinghy, the outboard, doing the maintenance here. So we appreciate you guys following along and, you know, seeing all the work that if you have a boat friend, all the work they have to go through to make sure that they can take you out. We're really excited to be able to take all of our friends out with us, you know, in the coming weeks, months, when it starts warming up more. We get some more practice in, and we'll see what we do for the rest of the season. Hopefully you'll stick around, and hopefully by next winter you'll be here with us as we dip out to go south for winter. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.